Okay, so this is the third time I'm going to try this. Now, this video is on troop formations. I'm going to try to fly through this. I think it's just too long for my tablet. So, troop formations. There is a method to the madness and why troops die a certain way, why people win certain attacks when you'd think that they shouldn't, why people lose attacks when you think that they shouldn't. Um, so, if you watch a march on when you go to send an attack, there is an order to the troops. It goes infantry, cavalry, bowmen, and then siege. It's a little bit of a misnomer because siege actually comes up and attacks the traps before they can attack your troops, but in general, that's the way that it goes. So, if we look at barracks, well, if we look at barracks, there is two different subtypes. There is spearmen and there's warriors. Spearmen have an increased defense against light cavalry. Warriors have an increased defense against archers. You can go into your training of each troop building and see the description of each one. You can actually see which tier is which type. Um, so there you have infantry. Now we go to cavalry. Cavalry have light cavalry have heavy cavalry. Light cavalry have an increased attack against archers, and heavy cavalry have an increased attack against warriors. So there you go. Bowmen, you have crossbowmen, you have archers. Archers have an increased attack against all cavalry and siege troops, and crossbowmen have an increased attack against spearmen. Now siege, last but not least, but least to me, just because my siege stats are horrible, you have towers and rams. They protect your troops by absorbing the brunt of the opposition trap attack, which basically means they literally come up and they sacrifice themselves on the traps. That's all they're good for is traps. They're god-awful slow, so I don't use them, but optimally you'd want to use them. Distant siege have an increased attack against traps, but they can kill troops as well. They're not as slow as ram siege, so I will send them, especially if someone has a ton of traps. As far as training troops, you want to train your two highest tiers of each subtype. So, or your highest tier of each subtype, sorry. So it'd be two tiers you want to be training troops. I'm a T10 account, so with my cavalry now, it's kind of odd because my T9 and T10 are both like cavalry. So what I want to do is I want to start upgrading with that new feature of upgrading troops. I want to start upgrading my T9 to T10 because my T9 are basically useless. They have a lower defense, a lower attack than the T10, and they're the same exact subtype. So my T9 are basically fodder now when I'm going up against a strong T10 account. So that's what I want to do. I want to go and start upgrading these T9 to T10. The same thing happens across some of these other troops. You can go in and look at each tier and see which tier is which subtype. I'm going to guess that a lot of people, that might find this video useful would be T7, T8, maybe some T9 accounts, maybe some T10 accounts, I don't know. So I'll kind of gear it towards T8 accounts, and I'll show a report of an actual battle that I had, and this is a battle that I actually technically won because I had a lot of reinforcements, but obviously I had a lot higher troop loss. But if you look at the actual troop types, this guy sent a really good march. The only thing he was missing was spearmen, and I think if he sent spearmen, because they have an increased defense against light cavalry, I'm a stronghold 30, I have T9 and T10, which are both light cavalry. If he sends spearmen, he might actually win this according to the game, but he didn't, so he lost. He sent his two highest tiers of cavalry, his T10 and his T8. That's his highest light cav, his highest heavy cav. He sent his two highest tiers of bowmen, T10, T9, that's archers and crossbowmen. And he sent his two highest tiers of siege that he has unlocked, his T9 and T8, distance and ram. The order that they die, like I said, there's an actual way to see this with my cavalry. You can see I lost T9 cav before I lost T8. T9 is light cav, T8 is heavy cav, so light cav die before heavy cav. There's an order of that. Same thing with my bowmen. Actually, I lost a lot of T8 bowmen. I didn't lose any T6 bowmen. T8 are archers, T6 are crossbowmen. So I lost my T8s, I didn't lose my T6s. So that might help you with anticipating losses and anticipating, which troops you're going to have to train a lot of. Um, you're going to have to train a lot of warrior infantry. Those are going to die, by the thousands. So a general formation that you can use, I'll just show one of them. I have two formations. I have one with siege and one without. A lot of people like to send siege. So decide on your siege first, and then split your remaining troops of your formation. So I sent 5k siege. I got about 140,000 left. I split it into thirds. That gives me a general idea, a general formation, and then I can adjust based on who I'm attacking. So say I'm attacking a T8 account. They have lots of heavy cav. They have T8 cav, T8 bowmen, T8 infantry. So they have lots of heavy cavalry. They have lots of archers. And then they have lots of warrior infantry. So I'm going to have to send heavy cavalry to defeat the warriors. I'm going to have to send warriors to defend against their archers. And then I'm going to have to send my own archers to defeat their cavalry. So I want high numbers in those troop types to defeat theirs. Optimally, you'd want to send a little bit of each different troop type and tier. I don't, because I don't like to fill my hospitals with low tiers. So like I said, a very basic understanding of it is to train your highest tier of each subtype and to send your highest tier of each subtype. And a real easy formation, set your siege across, then split it into thirds. And you can adjust from there, play with it, attack people during conquest when the healing's free or fire lands, play with your formations a little bit, and see what works for you. See what works for your account based on your stats. Hopefully this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Alright guys, have a good day.